What's up, guys? This is Bastian here coming at you with a Traveller customizable card game expansion review. Now, there's a couple of reasons why I want to do this. First of all, I think Traveller is not getting the amount of publicity it should. Actually, it's a really fun game to play based on the Traveller role playing game. Um, the creators of the game have done an amazing job capturing that feeling of you running your own spaceship and trading, pirating, uh, battling crew, stuff like that. So really, there's no review of the first expansion, which you can see in my hands here, Trouble on the Mains. This is the first expansion to the game, as you can see there. You can find a basically a base set where you get two specific ships worth of cards that you can build around with, and basically there are four expansions that have been released um, in basically these expansions, 60 cards per expansion. And there are also two additional ship decks that can be found. Also, there are print on demand cards to get your hands on as well. So, really, there's a bunch of stuff out there. There are even promos that came with a Kickstarter, as this was kickstarted. But it kind of went off the rails sort of the past, well, I guess I could say probably since COVID hit, give or take. Um, and I really hope that, perhaps if there's a little bit of attention getting onto YouTube, then that can hopefully entice the creators to bring out either just more print on demand cards, but obviously I would love to see more expansions coming out as well. So I have the starter set, the big box starter set. I also bought those decks twice by accident, but it doesn't matter because there's obviously just more cards to play around with. And I also have obviously this that we're going to review. I also have Aliens of the Empire, and I also have the Empress Marava Fair Trader deck. So if there's interest in this, I am more than happy to show you guys what's in those things as well. But anyway, without any further ado, let me jump into this product itself. So Trouble on the Mains is all about expanding those travelers who want to do a bit more piracy, as basically a couple of routes that a player can take. Player can either go after different objectives, complete objectives, and based on the completed objectives victory points, whichever player gets the prescribed number of victory points will win the game. But you can also go into piracy and try to basically run your opponent out of their deck. To be fair, piracy is my favored way to play this game, but you can also be, of course, an honest trader. So let's start. I've opened this already, so this isn't like a brand new opening. I've opened this, kind of went through the cards. We're gonna start with the basically these would be um, your instance that for those of you playing Magic the Gathering. Now we get a play set of all the cards in here, and we're going to start out with a particularly bad-looking visage. We have Lancer the Butcher. So this card is called Crackdown. You can basically play this card at any time you want. It costs 0, or you can use it to pay 2 credits for another card that either needs a cost to be paid or some form of an ability that requires payments. All captains must pay 3 credits for each piracy token they possess. So Crackdown is all about uh, basically taxing the pirates. So it's not just pro. We also see anti piracy cards in this particular expansion, because obviously there needs to be some form of a balance. So for those players who want to kind of protect themselves against piracy, this card is a must-have, because obviously this becomes basically a game-winning card if your opponent is indeed going into piracy and they got a bunch of piracy tokens, which is quite possible. You end up having 3, 4, then it's 9, 12 credits to be paid. That can be a very taxing amount to have to be honored. We have Homesick here. Homesick is only playable in the action phase. Again, 0 credit cost. Again, you can use it for 2 credits. And target committed captain must travel the... Oh gosh, I really should have checked all these different sides. Basically, they must travel a specific kind of objective, um, or abandon that particular objective. So you can force your opponent to have to take the difficult route when they're going for a particular objective, or they must abandon it. So this is pretty good for the pirate side, to sort of hold your opponent back from gaining additional victory points. Then we have 3 copies of Laying Low. Lose 1 piracy token. For 1 credit, you may instead target another captain to lose 1 piracy token. This is a very versatile card. It might not look it on the surface, but actually, if you are running piracy, then this can allow you to be able to not have to basically suffer from having a bunch of piracy tokens. Or you can pay an extra credit, and for 2 credits you can make another captain lose 1 piracy token. And that can also be good for you, can be beneficial, because there are many cards where piracy tokens do matter a lot. You could technically, of course, whilst your opponent plays a Crackdown, you could react to that with a Laying Low, and for the 1 credit you make yourself lose 1 piracy token, and all of a sudden, instead of having to pay 9 credits for your 3 piracy tokens, you basically end up paying 7, because 1 to get to lose 1, and then 2 more, 6 more for Crackdown. So it's a nice little versatile card. I mean, it's not going to necessarily change the game on its own, but then the whole idea is that no card should really do that. Then we got Targeted Removal. Targeted Removal, again, free credit cost. You can use it to pay 1 credit with. Look at target captain's hand and choose a card. The chosen card is discarded. Then the targeted captain draws a card. As far as I understand, this could be yourself. So you can target yourself and choose a card, and then get a card discarded to then draw a card. But I think this is better if it's used on your opponent. Get some information what's in their hand. There is no actual they don't lose card count, because they do draw 1, but you still get to take something that could potentially be very important for them. So I think Targeted Removal is a really good card. And then we have Trouble on the Mains. Obviously, of course, the image from the booster box itself. This can only be played in the adventure phase. It's also very important that this is an unsavory card, so it can be searched with there is a particular establishment that allows it to search for unsavory. So yeah, anyway, it combos really well with unsavory decks. Played in the adventure phase, any attacker who inflicts at least 3 damage during a piracy action this round gains 2 victory points. Any attacker who inflicts less than 3 damage during a piracy action this round loses 1 victory points. So the idea is that basically, as the pirate, you play Trouble on the Mains. if you know you're going to be able to deal at least 3 damage whilst you're doing your piracy, that will grant you 2 victory points. And you're also potentially able to interact with other pirates. If you know you can block their damage, then you can force them to lose a victory point. So again, this can be good, but obviously the first ability is the one that will be used predominantly if you are a pirate, and the second ability is, well, it may or may not work. Okay, let's move on to ship modifications or ship equipment, however you want to call it. We start with Hacker's Chainsaw. Hacker's Chainsaw, again, an unsavory card, which can be useful. You can activate it in the resolution phase, tap it basically, and after successfully resolving a piracy, gain a victory point, +1 victory point for each of those specific types of ship gear attached to the defending ship. So you can get at least 1 victory point if you go out one of these Hacker's Chainsaw on your ship, but there's a possibility that you actually can start to rack up quite a nice number of victory points with this card. I would say that this is definitely one of the cards you want to have if you want to go out and do some pirating, because this will get you extra victory points, which is obviously what you want. Now this one, I really like this card. Dreaded Visage, or Dreaded Visage, however you want to name it. It's for free, or you can use it to pay for 3 credits, and it's giving you 3 extra hull. So already that's pretty good. For each piracy token you possess, you gain +1 speed on your ship. That's just already amazing. Or you can jettison this card and remove target Corsair difficulty. Only usable if you have 2 or more piracy tokens. So, I mean, this card is just, it's so good for a pirate ship that I don't even know where to start. It's just getting extra speed means that you will be able to basically be the first one to move when a new turn is started. The extra hull is good for free, and an additional ability to jettison it and allow you to, if you're like on a cooldown and you want to lose maybe a piracy token, and you go away and try to do an objective, well, you can make that objective a little bit easier for yourself. So and the art as well. I mean, that ship is a really cool looking pirate ship too. Okay, so with the ship upgrades out of the way, let's now look at just basic equipment. This equipment obviously goes on the characters. So we start with Protec Flak Jacket. Costs 1, it's military grade veteran. It's got the reflectability, which allows you to it basically gives you 1 damage protection from every time you would be hit with a laser weapon. Well, that particular hero or character that this flak jacket is on. And you can also basically use it in the action phase when it's attached to a guy. Gotta tap it, and the attached hero gains armor 1 until the end of the current action, I think. Current action or current round. So for a little bit of investment, you can actually get some pretty good protection. One of the problems in the game is that sometimes it's a little bit too easy to shoot down the characters. So having something like the Protec Flak Jacket is really good to bring in a little bit of extra protection for your guys, for your crew. Now we got Alien Pathogen. This costs 2 credit, and it allows the ability of Hindrance. Also, the attached. Also, when attached, choose one of the attached crew member skills. That skill is reduced 1 level, and in the action phase, any crew member with the with those specific abilities can tap as an action to jettison this card. So they can get rid of it as long as they do have either a Scion or a healer in the team. Um, it's still a pretty good card. It's like a control card to slow down your opponent's um, crew members. That's realistically what it's there for, and particularly good if they don't run one or maybe both of those crews, because many decks might not run those. They might want to use something to exchange for those pilot skills, crew skills, so they don't necessarily going to have crew members with those abilities. We also have Tier Gas Canister. Again, costs 2 credits, and basically in the action phase, as a usability, it must be jettisoned, which means discarded, and you can tap up to 2 target crew members. Again, a bit of a control card. Tap down your opponent's guys, so perhaps they won't be able to give them the ability tokens. Just slow down your opponent. It's a bit of a shame that it's a used jettison, but hey, it's still ultimately a cool card. And then we get Realms of Rampage. Again, grants hindrance, and when attached, tap the attached crew member. So again, one of those gear cards that you put on your opponent's crew members. And in the ready phase, at the end of the phase, tap the attached crew member unless his controller pays 1 credit. Warlocks are OP is our flavor text there. This is a pretty cool card. To be able to tap somebody for the 1 credit for that turn is already good. And unless they can remove it, basically at the end of the ready phase, you can just keep on tapping that guy unless you tax your opponent for 1 credit if they want to have that character, ready for that turn. So this is probably, in my opinion, probably one of the best gear that is in this expansion. It's just very, very, very useful. Okay, where should we go next? Let's go to the crew then. We have a playset of, oh man, I was practicing this, Guargursu. I'm not gonna say it again. For 3 credits, you get a couple of good skills there. 3 health, that's pretty good actually. And after you successfully resolve a piracy action, inflict up to 2 damage divided between 1 or more target crew. I would say that this is a must-have for a pirate ship. Probably 2 copies. I would put at 2 copies, maybe 3 if you know your opponent's running a bunch of crew. You probably will want to spend that 2 damage on 1 specific character unless they like kind of both finish off a correct character, because characters do heal 1 at the beginning of the turn. So unless you either follow up or spend both on 1 crew member, or if you know that by dividing that 2 you're gonna get rid of 2 crew members, then, but it's giving you that option basically. It's a 2 ping, however you want it. You just have to do successfully resolve piracy, which again you probably will want to do if you're running this guy. Otherwise, it would be fairly useless crew. We have Imlai Ergosu, human. She's got a level 2 speech, which can be very useful. Again, 3 health, that's pretty good. And whenever an opponent gains 1 or more piracy tokens, you may replenish 1. So you kind of want to have this against the pirates, and you get hit with the damage, you gotta pay for that damage, but then you can replenish 1, so you can basically put 1 card back from your discard to your deck. It's kind of eases the damage that you would take from piracy. And we have Irina Tinkova. the little Tinkerkova. 2 credit, 3 health, and in the action phase, as an action, tap her, search your deck for basically one of these event card or a hero's action card. The thing I'm kind of like just so either a purple or a yellow card with maintenance or salvage, and move that card to your hand. This can be really cool if you build your deck around the fact that you want to search your deck for specific cards. This is just another piece in that puzzle. I like this card. Just basically giving you access to specific cards out of the deck rather than having to rely on drawing into them. Let's look at our sort of heroes actions, and I'll start with my favorite one that I've immediately picked up on, Aggravated Assault. Really, really cool card. If you got the level 1 shooter trait, tap that guy. When you play this, inflict 2 damage on target crew. If you got the level 2, then inflict 3 damage on target crew member. I think this card is just amazing. You don't have to worry about running a particular weapon. Just run the Aggravated Assault and ideally take out whoever you don't want to deal with, as long as you got the level 2 shooter trait. I absolutely love this card. This is definitely gonna go in my pirate deck. I can tell you that, guys, right now. Then we got Prey on the Weak. Usable by the I think this is the pilot trait. So level 1 pilot trait. In the action phase, you tap it and you gotta lose one of the lose one of that to target ship until the end of the round. So you obviously want to target your opponent's ship and make them lose one of that, whatever that is. I don't know off the top. Or if you got the level 2 skill, again, tap your crew member and target a captain who is pursuing the same objective as you. Immediately conduct a piracy action against the target. So this can allow you to bluff quite heavily if you got the level 2 pilot. Go ahead. This is particularly good if you're going second. So your opponent chooses an objective, you also go after that same objective, and then you go ahead and play Prey on the Weak and be like, oh, actually, I'm gonna conduct piracy on you, which is pretty cool, pretty funny. We have Registry Access Crash. In the action phase, with the level 1 skill, jettison a target as one of the ship gear types that you need to check for with the gray symbol there, unless its controller pays its cost. So that's already pretty good. It's basically a tough choice. Do you want to lose? Probably going to lose some hull with that, or tax it. So that's already a good one. And then for the level 2 skill, for each of that particular type of ship gear the target captain controls, that captain must pay its cost or jettison it. So the level 1 just looks at what if there's like one of that, and the level 2 one looks at whether there's 2 or maybe 3 in some cases attached to that ship, and tax them for each instance. And then we got Sinister Reputation, another unsavory card. Again, very good from that point of view. And for the Diplomats, I think there's a Diplomat skill. Level 1, tap your Diplomat, target captain gains or loses 1 piracy token. So this is immediately good, whether you are doing the pirating or you're going up against the pirating. And on the level 2 skill, gain or lose a piracy token, and then gain 3 victory points if you possess 3 or more piracy tokens. And that's really good because if you got 2 piracy tokens, then you're kind of just getting by. this can actually just, this can potentially win the game if you got a diplomat. Just level 2 diplomat, play that. Get yourself to, if you're on 2, get yourself on 3, or you're like 4, lose 1, so you have a little bit less to worry about potentially going into the next turn. But you can also just, gain 3 victory points. That might be what you need to win the game. So really, really cool card, that one. I wish the I don't like that image a lot, though, I'm gonna be honest. And then we got the connections. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, connections. So these are connection cards. We got black market investors. For each piracy token you possess, reduce the number of victory points you require for victory by 1. Imagine how good these two go together. Um, you can get yourself, up to, let's say, if you're on 2, get yourself up to 3, gain 3 victory points, and with the black market investors in play, now you need 3 less victory points to win. So if you got these two down together, you can just, again, win quicker. So we got black market investors, and last but not least, we have Ral Kai's Chop Shop. Costs 2 credits, and in the resolution phase, you can tap it after successfully resolving a piracy action. Gain 2 victory points. Gain an additional victory point if 2 or more. Again, that's specific kind of. I don't know, just any kind of. Sorry, I was actually wrong. Just any kind of ship gear has been destroyed. So another a fantastic way to speed up the piracy process, and I think, um, with this being the first expansion, and then I of course do have the second one, as I mentioned, Aliens of the Imperium. That does bring in a lot more sort of like combat, and it does bring in a little bit more protection against piracy. So it's kind of nice to see that they kind of balanced as they were releasing these new expansions. Now, I'm not saying that the game is like completely balanced, and I know there's been erratas and stuff like that, but that's besides the point. I just wanted to show you guys the first expansion. So I hope you have enjoyed this video, a bit of a different one, and I will see you next time. Peace out, YouTube.